Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host Tone Base. Another quick video as I have about 20 to 25 minutes before I have to get to day 2 of the Reinventing Bretton Woods Foundation conference called Dialogue of the Continents, which was really good actually. I was there for the first day yesterday. Let me just set up the troll box for you guys and get the video here and done. All right. Yeah, definitely feeling better today. I always feel like I'm about to get terribly sick every time I get off a plane. Any plane that takes I don't know, 6 hours or more to fly, but then by the next day I'm all right again. So, all right, let's get right into the charts. Let me do screen share here. Where is my thing? Actually, where did it go? Wait, what happened to my? Am I still streaming? Here it is. Got it. Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, but now I'm missing the other thing. Wait. All right, there's the screen share. Hold on a second, guys. Running into some technical difficulties for a minute. Okay, so now let me open the. Normally, I'm more efficient at this. Not sure what happened with my monitors. Okay, so I still haven't had a chance to read Ugly Old Goat's articles about stop losses, but you should. I don't know if you did anything else. Ugly Old Goat will be on the cruise. Oh, Evil Ethereum versus Virwu Bcash. Nice. All right, I gotta read. I gotta catch up on a couple of articles of his. I'm sure they're good. He will be on the cruise, guys. Just gotta find him. You may not know who he is, but you gotta find him. The Tone Vase, support system. So if you guys like all of this content and you want to support all of my content, please check out tonevase.com/affiliates, and it's also useful for your Amazon shopping. Whether I don't know why this one sometimes shows up and sometimes doesn't show up. This is a really neat power converter that I travel with, and I don't know why it doesn't like to show up. But anyway, so check that out. And of course, my workshops, which are coming up in Madrid, Amsterdam, and then that's it. I'm only doing 2 in Europe. Small chance I can add Prague, but not very likely. I think this is it, too much. And then a couple in Asia, and then the rest in Australia. And I will be in Sydney as well, Sydney and Melbourne. So check those out. All right, charts. All about the charts. I'm assuming these are updated. Yeah, it looks updated. I kind of like doing these. I know it's 2 a.m. on the East Coast, so you guys are screwed. Australia should still be awake, and definitely the West Coast is awake. So we're still under this trend line. Let's see if we can get above it and stay above it. You have an entire month. You're also coming up on a moving average. You can't even see this 7-month moving average because it perfectly rejected July, and then it perfectly rejected August. And right now, so far, it's perfectly rejecting September. So let's see what happens. The hyperwave chart, next time I talk to Tyler, we will re-examine this. Now that is line 7. Now I believe line 7 can be fungible, and I think that line 7 could be redrawn even if we break out a little bit higher and close above it. So we will have to talk to Tyler about that. Stop and reverse points and the middle Bollinger Band. Nothing here is going to change, guys. The Bollinger Band right now is going to kind of stay this way. The stop and reverse point isn't moving. So nothing's going to happen this week. You just got to wait for next week. And this week, seems to be kind of flat. It's only Tuesday, I know. Here is my actual chart. Let's glance at the RSI. I have not looked at the RSI in a while. As you can see, the RSI is consolidating. The big difference between the current consolidation of the RSI and the RSI in the consolidation phase of the 2014 bear market, even around this time, right? We're already in September. On September 1st of 2014, we were breaking down below the red line. Here we broke down below the red line earlier, but now we're above the red line, right? So the fall into the winter consolidation of the RSI took place between the oversold condition of the 30 and the 42 area. Right now, we are staying above the 42 or 44 area as I drew the current line. And therefore, it does look like we're consolidating at a higher RSI point. Now, some people see this as a positive. I don't. I see this as a negative. I see this as the drag, as the bear market of 2018 being dragged out. I do not equate the consolidation of the RSI between 44 and 50, between, let's say, 45 and 55. I don't consider a dragged out consolidation of the RSI in the 50 range as the end to any bear market. It really needs to consolidate on the lower half. We're talking 30 to 40 or 30 to 45. It needs to consolidate on the bottom side of this red line, not on the top side of this red line. So the fact that we are holding steady is not really a positive to me right now by looking at the RSI. Let's look at the MACD. The MACD has crossed over on a weekly scale. Now remember, in the 2014 bear market, the RSI also crossed over on a weekly scale. Crossed over back in June, and then it crossed back to the downside in August. We just crossed over to the upside in late August, okay? Now, do I think RSI is stronger now than it was back then? The answer is no. Back then, when the RSI crossed over into positive territory, we were above the zero line. Here, the RSI has just crossed over into positive territory, but guess what? You are below the zero line. Being below the zero line is bearish in itself. So therefore, the MACD is also weaker than it was in the 2014 period of the current bear market of Bitcoin. Okay, next. Let's go to the price. So looking at the price, you are still in a dead cat bounce phase. How long will you stay in a dead cat bounce phase? Well, as long as, well, either below this triangle downtrend line or the 30-week moving average line. Now, oh, you know what? Someone said if I hold shift, I can count candles. Let me do that. No. There we go. No. Oh, I have to press shift. Okay, cool. So bars. I want to go back 30 bars. 33 bars, 32 bars, back 30 bars. Boom. That's my 30 bars back. Okay. So right now, we went up a little bit. So we are using this bar. So the thing is, guys, in about 3 weeks, we will knock out this one, and this one. So these are the bars from late February, mid to late February, right? And they are pretty high bars, okay? So the 30-week moving average is going to start to drop over in about 3 weeks. So, right, that's 30 bars back. So next week, we can still bounce up a little bit, but in any case, I think there was a small difference between the 30-week moving average and the downward trend line. I would have liked to see them be closer together. There's a little bit of room in between them, but that's okay. So as long as it gets rejected from this vicinity of 75, 7,600, you are still in the dead cat bounce phase. Notice how the 50-period moving average is still rising. Once again, if I press and hold shift, nope. Is it shift and then press? There it is. If I go back 50 candles, you can see how the 50-period moving average can rise for a substantially long period of time, okay? Mostly because the 50-period moving average still has the entire October, November run-up to be factored into the price of the 50-day moving average. And therefore, it can still be rising for quite a bit before it rolls over. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so here, what you have is you are stuck at the 128-day moving average. Now, I will give you this. The fact that we are holding the 7,250 area, the $7,300 area, is bullish. So there is a higher than 50% likelihood right now, not much higher, but slightly higher, that you will go all the way up to the 200-day moving average. Now, Bitcoin isn't new to that. You can see that while last time we initially got rejected on a wick off the 128-day moving average right here on July 20th, we then broke above it and topped on a 9 right in the vicinity of the 200-day. Notice how this time around, the picture looks exactly the same. You are holding the 128-day moving average. It's a 4 of 9. And I would not be surprised at all if there is a pop to even as high as 7,800 over the next, I don't know, over the rest of the week or so, right? We have 5 more days to get there and still, give us a nice trading signal where a 9 hits the 200-day moving average exactly the way it did back on July 23rd, 24th area. Okay, next, the daily momentum stuff. So here we have the RSI, which I would love to also go overboard exactly the way it did a little over a month ago. Here is, again, the CMF, which looks fairly okay. A nice little bullish sign there. Here is the MACD, which looks positive. So there are signs that Bitcoin can continue to rise for a little while, but unless we can make it above the prior high and above the setup trend line, currently at 8,200, prior high is at 8,450, and then you still have the 200-day at 7,800. So you have all this resistance. So Bitcoin needs to clear all this resistance. Not only does it need to clear all this resistance, it has to clear all this resistance by a large enough margin so that when it turns back down for a pullback, that resistance is now support. So it probably has to clear all the way to 10,000. Then the price has to pull back to at least 8,500 and then strongly reverse. And then I will admit that the bear market might be over. Okay, so a lot needs to happen, and I don't believe that it will. Here is the 12-hour chart. The 12-hour chart is currently on a 7 of 9. So how do you trade This is a great example of how to trade this indicator. Great example of how to trade the sequential, which I teach at the workshops, right? You got your 9. The most likely thing that happens off of this 9, especially when this 9 is unable to clear the setup trend line, is a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then you go into the countdown phase. So you can see that after the 9, we got well, that was a neutral candle, then a 1, 2, 3 candle correction with the third candle already going up. You had your price flip. You had your green 2 above a green 1, which gives you a bullish entry. This is actually a beautiful 2 candle because the 2 candle gives you 3 reasons, actually 4 reasons to get into the bullish trade. Now, I'm not saying I would have gotten into the bullish trade. I'm just saying that this indicator is giving you 4 reasons to get into the bullish trade, and let's go over them. So one of them is you have a green 2 above a green 1. The second reason is you are closing above the setup trend line, which is kind of needed to break out of the bear trend caused by the 9 to the downside right there on the 11th of August, which is how we got this red dotted line in the first place. So that's your second reason. Your third reason is you are breaking above the prior swing high. And as Ugly Old Goat likes to say, he likes it when market makes a new 2-week high. He's bullish. And the fourth reason is the countdown phase. So after this 9, if the market is not able to reverse extensively, then you play the countdown to the upside. So as of this candle's close at 71.90, there are 4 reasons to be bullish on this time frame. Now, we are currently on a 7 of 9. And when you hit a 9, you now have a reason to take some profit. Now you're down to only 3 reasons to be bullish. Well, maybe 2, because this setup phase is over, and the 9 is telling you to take profit, but your countdown is still intact. You'll only be on like a 7 or an 8 of 13, and you are above the setup trend line, and you can set up for a brand new countdown off of the new 9. Okay, but that's only the 12-hour time frame. We went over the other time frames already. Now here's the 4-hour chart with the leverage short interest right in the chart. And I think the leverage short interest is unreasonably high still, which means that all of these people or person, I don't know and I don't care, probably needs to get wrecked before prices can once again, resume its downward trend. There's just too many people that will profit from falling prices right now, guys. I'm sorry. It's just life, just the way it is. I'm paying attention a lot more to leverage shorts, right? I'll learn from my mistakes too. If I don't pay attention to something, makes me not as good of an analyst. And I can't pay attention to everything, right? Again, I'm going to spend the next 7 hours listening to economic PhDs and ministers of, central banks and World Bank and from all over the world speak about global economics for the next 6 hours. So here is the daily chart, the hourly chart. The hourly chart looks really good. It's forming this ascending triangle, which looks pretty damn clean. And the moving average has caught up. You're above the cloud. You are still in this bearish deferred countdown. I'm not sure why, but that's going to go away soon. Surprised there hasn't been any 9s to the upside. I think it looks like it wants to break out. Like the market has spent enough time in the $7,300 area to break out and wreck these shorts. I want to see this blue line. Hold on a second. Yeah, I want to see this blue line get above 1.75, like what happened in March before the big 50% correction, like what happened in May before it had its, what do we fall from? May was 10,000 to 50 before it had its 45% correction. like what happened in or early August when it had its 35 or 40% correction. So I'm waiting for the shorts versus longs ratio to get back to that 1.5, 1.75 level in order to anticipate another 30 to 40 to 35% correction down, maybe even more. Okay. Ethereum continues to devalue versus Bitcoin. Again, I am not surprised. Ethereum to this day is, I believe, is a complete and utter disaster. And the only thing that it ever did was to separate qualified investors from their money. Okay, next. S&P 500 is still on a holiday. We have a 3-day weekend, so nothing really to talk about. All right, guys, I will glance at the troll box. I have about 5 minutes before I have to go over to the conference. Willy Woo's NVT signal is at 2018 high as of today. Overvalued, right? Maybe. Let's go take a look. Oh, by the way, this is the conference that I'm at. Let's look at the schedule for today. It's really good. So it starts at 9 a.m. And I have about a 20-minute walk to get there. I'm staying right by the Eiffel Tower. So we have risk analysts from the Export-Import Bank of China speaking in the morning. We have Netherlands Institute of International Relations, Hamburg Chamber of Commerce, Hamburg Port Authority. Hamburg's very involved. Germany's involved. Chair of the German Ethics Committee, Prime Minister of Romania, former Prime Minister of Romania, and currently a professor. Vice President of Public Policy at Facebook. That should be interesting. And Labor and Social Affairs of Germany, professors, University of Helsinki, University of Vienna, Stockholm. Looks like the Northern Europe day today. And lots of people from London School of Economics. Really, really good. And then I'm speaking on Wednesday. I will say, though, I mean, the foundation that runs this event is called Reinventing Bretton Woods. And pretty much all the economists that I've spoken to on at this conference, like none of them are actually interested in reinventing Bretton Woods, right? They're all kind of agree that the gold standard does not work and you need, you know, the fiat system, the Keynesian system. So I found that a little bit ironic, but the event is really, really cool. And I'm having a good time meeting all these people. Okay. What do we got here? The cruise. The cruise is all sold out. I can't wait. I fly over to Barcelona on Thursday. After that, I'll be in Ukraine. After that, I will be in Riga. After that, I will be in Amsterdam. Then Hackers Congress in Prague. And after Prague, oh, I need to do an intro. Okay, let me do this because they wanted like a video and intro. This way I can timestamp this thing. So I am very happy to be one of the keynote speakers at Hackett 4.0 this year in Kiev, Ukraine, following in the footsteps of former great speakers like Steve Wozniak and Phil Zimmerman. And this will be a great, great event. Also really looking forward to the networking day at the Chernobyl nuclear power station. Really curious if we actually gonna wear these kinds of outfits, or is it now fully open to the public because it's safe? We will all find out. I believe I am speaking in the morning of October 11th, but there is a 2-day conference following the actual Hackers event. And it should be a lot of fun, and really looking forward to joining this event in Kiev, Ukraine, between October 9th and October 11th. All right. Then I'll be speaking at Crypto Expo and also in Singapore again later on at the Block Shop. I'm assuming I'm speaking here, not official yet. And in between the two Singapore ones, I'll spend a month in Australia. So keep that in mind. All right, Willy Woo. Let's go take a look. I think it's Woonamic, right? Woonamic? Maybe not. Woobull. So let's look at his charts. Where are his charts? Those are posts. Research? No. Markets? No. I don't think. Oh, there it is. Charts. I'm totally retarded. Okay, so let's take a look at the NVT ratio. Yeah, that's pretty high. That is pretty damn high. It's not a good sign. Let's take a look at the NVT signal. Well, it's getting to be a little bit higher than what happened in 2017. Hey guys, it doesn't mean that this is the perfect fundamental analysis to time your top. It really isn't. It could also mean this is no longer useful, right? I mean, we don't know. We're just all assuming. I still think we're about to turn any minute, and this needs to, rebound to the downside. But, we did go higher in 2013. And yeah, let's see what else he has that's useful to us. No, not that one. See what else he's got. See Bitcoin velocity. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this one some more. Because we're pretty low right here, but we've been low at the highs and we've been low at the lows, right? So I'm not sure what exactly this means as far as trying to time the markets. All right, let me see if you guys have anything else. I'm actually over my time. If I see one good question, I'm out. I'll try and help Jimmy prepare against Roger. I keep telling them to try and make me a neutral moderator. I can be neutral. I just gotta cut off the mics. Look, the best way Jimmy can prepare for Roger is to mandate there is one microphone, and they have to pass this microphone to each other. That's all I can do. All I can do is tell Jimmy to demand for there to be only one microphone. All right, let me stop screen share. I'm not gonna share anymore. Hey guys, oh wait. Hey guys, I have my tea in the morning. Oh, I don't know if anybody's noticed, I brought a Bitcoin rat with me. We're gonna take him on the cruise. We're gonna have a lot of fun. All right. Oh, I got a tip. Thank you for your tip. In your opinion, this is the last question, guys. In your opinion, what is the amount of Bitcoin that a maximalist should hold to live happily ever after 10 years from now with moderate spending? That's a good question, really. In my opinion, well, there is 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, right? So you want to try to get yourself into the, the top X% club, right? So with 21 million Bitcoin, how do we do this, right? So with 21 million Bitcoin, if you have 2.1 million Bitcoin, you're a 10%er. You own 10% of all Bitcoin. Not even Satoshi has that, right? So let's go one step down. So now if you have 210,000 Bitcoin, you own 1% of all Bitcoin. So you're a 1%er in terms of Bitcoin. Not many people are going to own 210,000 Bitcoin, so you drop a zero. How about 21,000 Bitcoin? Now you're the 0.1% holder of all Bitcoin. Let's go to 2.1,000 Bitcoin, then 210 Bitcoin, then 21 Bitcoin, and then 2.1 Bitcoin. I think that 2.1 Bitcoin should serve you very well in 10 years. Other than that, try to get to 21 Bitcoin. But if you're starting now, that would be very difficult. If the price of Bitcoin drops to the vicinity of $1,000 to $2,000, which I believe is reasonable based on charts, you should be able to accumulate 21 Bitcoin if it does fall to the $1,000 to $2,000 range. I'm not saying you should spend $40,000 on Bitcoin if you only have, let's say, 40,000 to your name. But and I thank Giacomo Zucco for this. I was in Italy and we were talking about this concept. So yeah, try to call yourself, I'm an X percenter of a Bitcoin holding, right? I'm the I hold 0.001% of all Bitcoin. You know, that's when you have, I think, 210 or 0.0001% of all Bitcoin, and or I own 1/1000th of all Bitcoin, and I think that's like, I don't know, 21 or 2, or whatever it is. I can't do math in my head, sir. All right. So yeah. So try to stick to those numbers. I think they'll serve you well. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am off to the conference to talk with world leaders, well, economic leaders anyway, and should be a lot of fun. And I'll see you all probably tomorrow morning. It's really hard for me while I'm really busy at this conference. Really hard for me to do the daily shows. And Leah is flying over to Barcelona today, so that makes it that difficult. But maybe tomorrow, when Leah and I are both in Europe and Giacomo's in Europe, maybe we'll try and bring you another news brief. All right, guys, on this note, I am out. Talk to you all on the next one.